Hi, welcome to another episode. Well, hello, of the Homestead Underground podcast. This is Russ again, and this is going to be a short episode. It's hot. I'm old. It's late. Got to be up 4:30, 4:45, whatever the alarm set for is when I get up. Hopefully, and as much as anything else, these episodes are recorded for my son. And I'm an old enough man. I've seen friends younger than me pass of natural causes. Had a lot of friends die of not natural causes. And at this age, I never take a single day for granted. There's a line, and I can't remember if it's Epictetus or if it was Marcus Aurelius in Meditations, but I'm pretty sure it was Epictetus. But he talked about live every day like a lifetime. Each day when you wake up, be thankful. Greet your children. Tell them you love them. Tell your wife you love her. Because you're not guaranteed to see those folks again that night. And each night before you go to bed, tell everyone that you love them, because you're not guaranteed to wake up in the morning. And that is something I've really taken to, is trying to just one day at a time, right? It's the same thing. I know there is nothing new under the sun. But this recording, hopefully, is for you. And it's for today, because you need to hear it. And you can always come back to this on a different day. This life is hard. And I looking forward, we've had real false prosperity in this country. And whether you want to say it's all because Nixon closed the gold window, the gold standard, or because of the federal bank, or whichever boogeyman you want to believe in, we've had in my entire lifetime, we've had an unbelievable amount of prosperity. From when I was a kid and they were doing Live Aid, folks were starving all over the planet and famine was a thing, to you're more likely in the West to die of obesity than just about anything else now. We have it unbelievably good. Hard times are coming. And whether it's, like I said, whether it's you just simply losing your job, or your spouse getting sick, or you getting sick, or someone getting hit by a bus, you don't know when those things in life are going to come. Homesteading, if you've gone down this path, it doesn't matter what age you are, because as you get more wise and you get more efficient, your body breaks down. So it's your body that fails more often than your mind or your finances. So it doesn't matter where you're at. You're going to face adversity. You're going to face struggle. And every time you do, and every time it starts to get a little overwhelming, because I have to do this for myself, I want you to take a step back and think about the hardships and the struggles of the folks who got you here. It was not that long ago that if you had 10 children born to you, half might live into adulthood. And if of those women, your daughters, when they started having their own children, there's a good chance that they would die in childbirth at some point in their life. We live in a magical time of affluence and plenty. But never let that gratitude for your ancestors, for your elders, for the folks that came before you, for the folks that built the little town you live in or the big city you live in, don't take those things for granted. Be thankful for them. Be conscious of that. One of the great things that I've started to do in adulthood, and the more I do it, the better my life becomes, is just simple reflection and gratitude. I am so thankful. And it really began after I got back from Iraq when I was coaching. Because every year we'd sit around, because you're always on the road at Thanksgiving. Always. Now, there are the teams that are hosting those Thanksgiving tournaments, but even those folks are away from their families for the most part. You're not driving 900 miles after a game on Wednesday night or Friday morning, having Thanksgiving and coming back. You're there. You're with your team. You get really close during that period of time. For a lot of kids, it's their first time away from home. But I remember after I got home from Iraq, every single year, men and women, ice, flush toilets. No one's trying to kill me. Man, I haven't since I got home. I have not gone a day without a full cup of ice. And now I have a luxury sonic ice maker that I have access to. It's glorious. Every single time I fill that up, I think about water sitting out in the sun, tasting of, and it was all mineral water. It's gross. Just whatever temperature it was, add 10 degrees, 15 degrees, and drinking it because you had to. Just miserable. Flush toilets. I'll tell you what, you don't know how lucky you are to have indoor plumbing. There is no, anytime anyone talks about rustic and going up in the woods, pooping in a hole is not my idea of a great weekend. Now, can I do it? Sure. Done it a lot. But every single time I flush a toilet, man, same thing. Golly, what a miracle of modernity this is, and how thankful I am to be able to do it. And just the fact that you have your health, or if you don't have your health, that you're still alive. It doesn't matter where you're at. Look for the positive. Think about what you're thankful for. The homesteading stuff is hard. I can't tell you, between accidents, equipment failure, predators, it is snake bites. I mean, there's a huge list of things that can go wrong for you with your animals, with your infrastructure, with your vehicles, with trailers. I had a little mini Hereford steer in a land to get your kids out of public school, to know intimately the food that you're eating, to feed your friends, to feed the world, whatever it is that gets you up every morning. Hold tight to that. Be proud of it. Be humble when you talk to folks. Learn that every single person you meet has something that you can learn. And Andrew and I decided a while back, we've been really horrible marketers, but so the tagline for this podcast is going to be every day is an opportunity to learn, because that's what the homestead really is. And the teaching, those hard fought lessons, it's hard when you're taught something, but every day get a little bit better. In athletics, self-help, it's all the same. Everyone, if you're just getting a 0.1% better every day over the course of a year, you're going to see market improvement. If you're just 1% more profitable every day as a business, it doesn't take long until you're the richest person on the planet, right? But try every day to be 1% better as a spouse, husband, wife, doesn't matter. As a parent, father, mother, friend, all these things. Strive for that excellence. My biggest pet peeve is folks who are content with mediocrity. There's a line in a movie, Brad Pitt, I can't remember which, I want to say it's Achilles, right? The little kid's talking to him about fighting this big guy, and you shouldn't do it, whatever. And he tells him that's why no one will ever remember your name. I think frequently about the first snow that came to this country. He traded 10 years of his life, indentured servitude, slavery, voluntarily. He became someone's slave for 10 years for a boat ride. That's all he got out of the deal. And in the middle of that indentured servitude, he married one of the few eligible gals on the continent, Constance Hopkins. She came on a little boat called the Mayflower. Nicholas Snow came 3 years later in 1623 in the Queen Anne. You have an origin story. Every one of us does. Find that story. Talk to your folks. Talk to your grandparents. Be fiercely proud of that blood that flows through your veins that's got you to this point. But think of those sacrifices that your forefathers made, and foremothers. I've often, especially here in Texas in uniform, Oklahoma this week on the way to work. Stopped, get gas, went inside to get a Coke. It's a Diet Dr. Pepper. That's another story if you're not from the South. And I had an African American gentleman, probably 30, 32, dressed for work, uniform. I don't know what he was doing, but something hard work. Those overalls had the reflective stuff on them, and they'd seen hard use. He came up, stuck his hand out, thanked me for my service. And I never know what to say when that stuff happens. But I remember reading somebody somewhere that said their response was talking about the grief and loss they'd seen, which I'll never get into on this, but make it worth it. And I often think about my ancestors and moving through America from Massachusetts. I had great-grandfathers and his son, however many generations removed, that signed up in New England, and by the end of the war, they were in North Carolina. They'd gone through 3 or 4 different contracts. Claimed in the historical records we have, claimed he never got paid a salary during that time. They fed him, but he kept getting up, kept signing up. By the end of his life, he was in Tennessee. And from him, here I came. I think often about when I get to, and hopefully meet these folks, that I can look them in the eye and say, I made it worth it. Anyways, thanks for listening. Very short. As always, appreciate you. And if nothing else, I hope that if there's one person this helped, it was worth it. Thanks.